In all honesty, what was the last financial planning question that stumped you? That you had to say, I got to dig a little bit deeper?
What are you guys doing? Switching me up in here? Why are we in here doing this today? That's my
Plus,
question.
I'm on this side. This is my better side.
Is it?
I
Okay.
thought about that last night when I was like, why do I look so bad?
Oh, it's all that. These are bright lights, by the way.
All right, welcome to our Friday Fin Tips here. How you doing today?
You're asking them.
I was asking them,
Yep,
yeah.
I wanted to make sure.
Hope all is well. We're going to do something a little bit different here today. We are going to interview Eric. Let's see how much he really knows. He actually has no idea what these questions are. I put them together while I was driving on the way to work today and typing them down.
I'm ecstatic.
Yeah.
So you might learn something.
Yeah, you might learn something.
Or you might learn that I don't know anything.
Well, I'm not going to ask him like what his favorite color is. So we're going to learn a little bit about planning here. So is Eric faking it or is he not? It occurs to me we never did an actual interview formally. So here we go.
All
Are
right.
you ready?
Game time.
Question number 1. Should you buy a house right now?
Personally, no.
Personally, you wouldn't buy a house?
No.
Okay.
I would not.
If a client asks you, should I buy a house right now?
If a client asks me if to buy a house right now, first of all, you got to find out the long term. How long are they staying in this house?
Yep.
Because if they're staying in the house for 6 months, there's some risk that comes into
Yeah, I
play.
wouldn't
You're
do it.
buying this thing to maybe try to move it in the next couple years. I mean, the market's been really high. We don't have the crystal ball, but yeah, it's going to be really difficult to try to advise that. But if you're wanting to say, hey, we're moving there, we're selling our home, first of all, well, a lot of these right this second.
Yeah.
We're looking to relocate, selling our home, we're going, to Florida. Everybody's coming here.
Oh, I was just going to
Everybody's
say,
coming here.
you know how many people are changing
A
states?
lot
Not
of clients are coming to Florida.
Yep.
Maybe it's us. Maybe they think we're cool. But either way, even if not, the thing is they're already selling at the top of a market, so that's good. So then they're going to have to buy, though, at the top of a market. But this is their forever home. They're not worried about getting the deal. But if you're looking for the deal, I don't think I'd say right this second is the time.
I answered that question actually twice this morning, which made me think of it. And actually, I did a class in the dojo for clients there. How much should you spend on a home specifically? Not like, just 28% of your income. Specifically, how much should you spend?
Yeah.
How to use a model for that. Okay, so that was a softball. I'll give you one more softball here, and then we're going to get into it.
Oh, great.
Should you buy a car right now? It's a little different because now we got to get to work and stuff. Should you?
So this is an interesting one. I actually had a client just the other day called and wanted to look to buy a car. Told me what it got approved for with the car. But they also want to buy a house coming up.
Ooh, uh-oh.
And the thing that people don't realize is a lot of times the lender is not asking you anything other than what they need to know to get you qualified. They're oftentimes, and this isn't a dig. I know, there's somebody probably watching, and they're
You're
a
in
mortgage
trouble.
lender, and I've chatted with them, and they're a great person. And there's people that truly do want your best interest. But just generally speaking, you apply for a loan. Hey, do you have the income or not? That's the general approach there. And when that comes into play, if you're going to buy the car and you're also wanting to buy a house, you got to realize you go buy the car, it's going to mess up your debt to income ratio. Everything comes into play. So all of that to say, if you need a car, it's one thing. Prices are coming down. I'm starting to watch. I'm going to have to get a vehicle coming up. The Ford Focus. There's just some things going on with old girl.
Well, and also, you don't
But
have to spend a lot of money on a car. Like, if you need a car and you love the Dodge Ram, right, you don't necessarily have to get the Dodge Ram. So that's where I get a little tough with people.
Yeah.
But I tend to agree with you on that one. Like, can you just hold out till buying the car? Do you really need it?
Yeah.
Okay, not bad.
One you got to be careful of too with the car right the second. Just one more with that. And this client was in that situation is younger client and they didn't have the best credit score. Right this second, it's even worse because sometimes just rates in general on cars are way up. So if you already don't have a good credit score and then you've got to go buy the car, be careful. Don't put yourself in a spot that you don't need to be in.
Okay, so you feel nice and relaxed now? Did we do a good job?
Those were the softballs.
Those
right?
were your softballs. Okay, ready for the next one here.
No.
If a train leaves Boston at 9:15 a.m. No, I'm just kidding. I won't give you that one.
My wife does things like that. She sees these things on I don't know, Facebook store, whatever the videos things.
Yep.
And she'll see these questions and then she'll ask me. I hate to say, like, I love to have fun and I have a good time, but I sometimes can be pretty literal.
Yeah.
And so when you tell me something like this and you have to really think through it, sometimes I'm like, I get so aggravated because I mess them all up.
All right, I will. So that was a bit of a trick question. I'll give you an actual one here.
Okay.
What gets wet as it dries?
Oh, great. So you are going to throw me these.
But this is just a fun one. I just thought of it. I didn't
What-
even write it down.
What gets wet
What gets wet as it dries?
dries.
Yeah.
Sorry for anybody wanting to watch Financial Topics. We're getting a little
No,
derailed.
next all of them are financial from here. All of them, promise you. I just thought of this one.
What gets wet as it dries?
Yeah. Just trying to see what side of your brain you're using there.
Obviously not the proper side on this.
Or any of them at this point, right?
Yeah, that's very true. it
It's a trick question. Or it's not a trick question. It's a riddle.
is Friday.
So you got to think outside the box. A towel. A towel gets wet as it dries you.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
I didn't get that one
that's
either,
good.
by the way.
That's good. That's
I
good.
didn't
though.
get it either.
I,
I
like
just
that.
I thought that
Now
was
I'm
fun.
going home to ask my wife that.
Okay. What is one planning advantage that you often find for your clients when you actually dive in? Is there any common denominator there that you could say, I'll tell you what, generally for everybody, here's what you should think about because I see this all the time.
Withdrawal strategy.
Withdrawal strategy.
Generally speaking, withdrawal strategy tends to almost always be the same, though it all will depend on what the client's goals are.
Okay.
So I could always say that would be one that I'd look at.
Okay. I would agree with that one, that I find it is non-existent in most clients. They had yet to even think of that. And remember, there's a return in your withdrawal strategy. You can make money doing that, so that counts as returns. Okay. How much should someone keep in their savings account at this point? Not generally, just right now in life.
Do you have an age for them or just in general? General.
Well, let's go general on this one.
General. Okay.
This is an easy one just to relax you again.
Yeah. Oh, great. Another relaxer. Okay. So I like the emergency savings. I think that 3 to 6 months is a good just general rule, though it's going to depend on the client because
Very much so.
if you're so I used to work for the fire department. Pretty safe job. A majority of the time, if you do get hurt, you're getting hurt at work, so you have workers' comp that's going to help cover. And then you had my spouse was a nurse. So we both had pretty solid jobs
Yep.
that oftentimes they're not doing layoffs in. So maybe the 3 months and you have dual incomes, but maybe the single person who works in construction, 6 months to a year, because
Yeah,
you know there's things that come into play there. So it really does depend. The good rule of thumb, the 3 to 6 months. The business owner, definitely more than 3 months.
Yep.
Definitely.
That's a good answer. So I actually like that answer because it has nothing to do with what Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, Eric Powell, Dustin Tibbetts, the other guys, right? It has nothing to do with what the general answer is and everything to do with your type of job. Are you a cyclical job? Are you a nurse where you're never getting fired? I mean, you're going to have to steal like narcotics to get basically kicked out there.
Yeah, and then but also if you have a big joint brokerage account or an individual account that's already invested, at least you have liquid money that's available. Though, yes, you don't want the market to fall and then have to pull from it. But let's just say you lose your job, at least you have something to get to.
Okay, good. All right, just a couple more here.
A couple more.
In all honesty, what was the last financial planning question that stumped you, that you had to say, I got to dig a little bit deeper? I've got like a dozen of them, just to be honest. Because you guys are always, well, he's thinking of this. You guys are always thinking of like the way around things, which makes me think too, right? So when the day goes on and I have these really general questions and then somebody throws a curveball, it's like, I hadn't looked at it that way in a while, or my gosh, what are you trying to get away with? So it makes you think, what was yours?
I think it's one that I'm still working on right now. We've been talking quite a bit recently. They're watching. I know you're watching. I hope so. At least. And I told them the other day, I said, I feel like we're a family now. We talk quite a bit. And so they're in a very unique situation. And part of it is along the lines of they're not old, but they're retiring at a good age to retire, but their children aren't young, but they're not all out of the house.
Okay.
So it's this weird dynamic here because they've done very well for themselves. They are going to have, a pension as part of income. Well, they want to look at doing Roth conversions, and they're at a good point in their life to start talking through that. But also, they're at a position where eventually Medicare is going to kick in, and they have to be careful. There's the IRMA, tax, more that you're going to have to pay on Medicare if you're not careful. And then on top of that, they're also looking at the same time, because of where their children are, in college planning. And the more that they're showing as income, the more the less they're going to get from FAFSA. So it's a triple thing there that we're having to look at and talk through and really strategize, because it's not a one that we can say, hey, we're going to find the best scenario for every situation. Instead, we're really going to have to prioritize on the goals to then solve that.
So you're basically saying it's not one question. It's truly, this is the first plan that it hasn't stumped you. It's just we got to find the right way to go, and there's almost like not a right answer.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's it's definitely not a one to stump. It's just more of goal planning. It's been challenged. But with that same person though, what's really interesting is they have a child that's and I'll ask you if you've realized this. So Social Security, if somebody retires and they are able to get Social Security, they can take it. And if they have a child under 18, the child can get, I think it's half the Social Security.
Yeah, same if the father or mother passed away.
But this is if they retire and they're able to get it, and the child's under 18. There's a thing there. It's that's what I'm saying. It's like
that hasn't happened to me actually.
That's what, and that she asked me that, and I'm like, oh wow. I was like, yeah. So we got to really. I said, this isn't one that I can't say that I'm an expert on this.
Why do I always get the bummer ones, like where one of the father or the mother dies and the kid's 16? So that I'm really well versed with, but
yeah,
I never seem to get the happy ones. Okay, we're gonna make you sweat a little bit, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right.
Do you believe ESG should be a consideration when investing?
I'm going to say that I want to take the high road on this one in a sense, and I only say
no, you, not the high road. Do you?
Oh, okay,
believe?
okay. Well, I was going to say it was all on personal preference. I think and what you think, but no. As far as everything goes, as far as what we've looked at, ESG does not ultimately outperform the markets, and
it's not possible.
And so,
yeah.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of people that can look at it different ways, and ultimately, I respect anybody's decision. Though from an investment perspective, if you're solely looking at investments, it's not the best situation.
I've had people that feel passionately about alcohol, adult entertainment, gambling, tobacco, things like that. That's, obviously I can understand that. Certain religions can't get dividends. They can't be involved in alcohol and stuff. I certainly understand that. I have not had one person mention an ESG score in relation to their investments, or could I score some of their investments? So I was just curious if you had that question too.
Yeah, no, I think I've had some people just request maybe not to invest in like major oil, certain things like that. And,
yeah,
we can.
That's always something.
Fossil fuels, things.
Yeah, and it could be because you've been burned. Like if I had an advisor,
True.
I would highly request that they don't invest in biotech stocks, because every time I seem to invest in one of them suckers, they burn me. So I don't do it anymore. Lesson learned. Okay, would you rather have higher non-qualified dividend return or a lower qualified dividend return?
Depends on my tax bracket.
Okay, that's easy.
So let me break that down real quick though, because if you're listening and you don't quite grasp what we're saying here, and so the non-qualified dividend is basically going to be taxed at your ordinary income tax bracket. Your qualified dividend is going to be taxed at generally long-term capital gains. And so with all of that being said, if I have a massive tax bracket, a really high tax bracket, then I'm going to be taxed at 37% of the top of the tax bracket roughly. That's going to really crush me. But if I have a really low tax bracket, maybe I'm only making 10 grand a year, just I'm retired, whatever the case is, and I have this coming in, it may not hurt me.
Okay, good one. And if you're sitting in front of Congress right now and you had to pick one or the other,
ooh,
no explanation.
Okay.
If someone is 40 years old, has $100,000 in an account, you don't know which type, would you prioritize returns or prioritize volatility? Meaning lower volatility, or would you focus on returns regardless of the volatility?
Returns.
Okay.
100%.
Because?
Absolutely. Because at 40 years old, unless the average retirement age is 40, which is far from that, there's no sense in worrying about volatility at that age. If instead we need to focus on educating the 40-year-old to be able to withstand the volatility and get the higher returns.
Got it. And then you can have at this one here, because unfortunately this one's come up a lot. Had a lot of clients pass away, family members pass away, so I've had a lot of questions based on that. How do you personally handle your disaster plan with your wife? Meaning, if you die today, how does she know what to do?
So this is a good one. This
Take
is
it
actually
away.
a current one. Well, this is a current one. I think I mentioned in a recent video a client of ours and a long time somebody that I really got to know. I would consider a friend. Passed away, and it opened up my eyes as well. As an advisor, doesn't mean that we're not human, and sometimes we get busy with work and we're not thinking through things. And I really started to structure and develop a strategy to make sure that, first of all, you've got the will in place. Second, you have really a layout of where everything is for my wife. Yeah, the will should direct a lot of that, but a lot of it, she just doesn't know everything. Not that she doesn't. It's just that I'm just doing different things. I work in finance, so I don't want to make it, hey, my wife doesn't know anything, but sometimes she's just like, I trust you with this. I know, you've got it. I'll, run big purchases by her, but I'm not, if I'm making a shift in an investment account, she's okay with it. And so with that said, I'm really trying to draw this out as a map for her. And also I've truly told her, like, if something were to happen to me tomorrow, Dustin is the best person to go talk to.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because I trust you, number one. And number two, I do know that you're educated and we have a lot of the same views, investment philosophy and strategy. And just being able to guide her, and also not, there were people I've worked with in the financial industry that I'd be like, never go talk to that person if something happened to me.
Same here.
And it's they're going to sell you everything under the sun. I just know that that's not you. I know that's not our business.
Cool.
Maybe that's a plug. Maybe it's not. That's the truth, though.
If something happens to you, your wife's going to be calling, huh? Okay.
Yeah. There's a little bit of money and a lot of life insurance.
I'll have to think through that just a little bit.
Yeah. Don't plan taking me out though. Come on now.
So for my wife, it's a little different because her when her grandfather passed away, her grandmother literally did not even know how to use a debit card, and that's just a product of that generation. But we had to take her to the gas station and show her how to do this and what that meant, and if it asked for your PIN, what do you do? That was a headache. So we literally just have a little binder that just says "open when." And so it's one of those things, you don't have to define it. You know when to open the book. And I put it in her crafts room. So it's a place that she knows more than I do, and she'll know how to find it.
There you go.
Simple as that.
Today is, or Monday is President's Day. You have any more questions, by the way?
I'm done. You did great. That's a pass in my book.
Monday's President's Day. Got something for you guys.
Oh, my
So I read this today. All right. So where did George Washington go shopping to buy his hatchet?
I don't know.
The chopping mall.
Oh, gosh.
They get worse.
Friendly jokes you can share with your kids, and your kids will even go, what?
Yeah. Be like, geez, that was dumb.
Okay. But that's Eric for you. Now you know a little bit more about Eric and how he thinks here. And what do you think? Did he pass? Let us know below if he passed or if he said something that you disagree with. I don't know. I think he did pretty good.
Thanks.
Really
Appreciate
good,
that.
actually. So enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching.